Hi, it says we're live, so let's trust it, shall we? Why has that done that? That's a good start, isn't it? Where's my banner gone? My banner's gone. That makes me sad. Anywho, well, it's a good start. Welcome to The Tangent. My name is Katie, and I thought maybe once a week we could... Oh, there it is. It's back. I'm not entirely sure how I did that. I thought we could discuss what's happened in the week. This is the first one. It sounds like I'm going to be joined by a cat as well. Okay, Piccolo. You're going to come up? You're going to come up and say hello? Of course you are, my baby boy. So, where were we? Discussing the week. That's it. So, been quite an interesting week, put it that way. Had quite a few interesting stories. If there's any you want to discuss, let me know. I would like this Saturday night thing to be more casual, not necessarily have a script. For you to get involved, let me know what you want to talk about. We could have a giggle, we could get philosophical, we could have a look at a news article, whatever it is you want to discuss. More than happy. Okay, Piccolo. Yes. The lighting is awful. It's shocking. It is what it is. I'm poor. So, where shall we start, Pick? Hey? Oh, baby boy. Okay. It's the same colour as my pyjamas. Yes, I am wearing my pyjamas. It is almost 9 o'clock on a Saturday night and I'm a 39-year-old woman. Of course I'm wearing my pyjamas. But, so, is it going to be nice to me? Somewhat. Okay, so let's share that screen. Come on, there we go. Still figuring this out. Screen. Oop. That one. Pick. Decide what you want to do, baby. I've now got cat hair. Okay, so this is the news this week. Excuse the ad. I don't know if I can even close that. But Olympics organisers moving towards blanket ban on transgender women from women's sports. This was on Monday of this week, so right back at the start of the week. And I've kept this on a little post-it note, making sure to discuss it. So the International Olympic Committee is moving towards a blanket ban on transgender women from women's sport. Olympic chiefs are also looking at prohibiting athletes with DSD, differences of sex development, from women's events given testosterone advantages. It follows a presentation last week to IOC members by their medical chief, Dr. Jane Thornton, which highlighted the potential physical advantages of competing in women's sport after being born male. IOC members were, again, Piccolo hair, were also updated on how sex testing would work, as World Athletics has already introduced to verify biological sex to compete in women's events. A ban on transgender women from women's events could be introduced in time for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, although the issue has not been presented to the full IOC session for a decision yet. Oh, careful. It's okay, baby. Oh, there's fireworks still. Follows pressure from President Trump vowing to end the war on women's sport. I think the rest is what we already know. No decisions have been made yet. So, yeah, the rest of it we already know. So, no decisions have been made yet. There we go. But we will see, because I'm not gonna lie. What was it? Dr. Jane Thornton highlighted the potential physical advantages of competing in women's sport after being born male. Katarina, stop it. That's my other cat. Sorry. Who paid this woman to do the research that we as humans have known since the dawn of time? Seriously. Of course men have like an advantage in sport. It's fucking moronic to say that they don't. I don't understand this this time we are living in. Like saying, we all know the sky is, well, black at the moment because it's nighttime. It's like saying it's white. Like, no, it's not white. It's black because it's nighttime. It's just the idiocy of, well, duh. Men might have an advantage. People who went through male puberty may have an advantage. Of course they bloody well do. Anywho, now I was going to also go down the rabbit hole of the recent Epstein file leak thing, but I don't know what source I can go to. I don't know what source, excuse you, I can rely on. So I'm not entirely sure which one to show you. So I'm not going to show an actual website, but I have covered it. And let me get this right. So Trump has been named in the files, but we already knew that, I believe. Virginia Giuffre, with the victim who recently passed, she said in her book that Trump was nothing but a gentleman. And Trump has always denied any wrongdoing, possibly inappropriate behaviour, because let's face it, it's Donald Trump. I'm not saying he's an angel. But is it the Democrat? Yeah, the Democrat. Yeah, the Democrats think that releasing these files bit by bit is going to help them somehow, and it's not, because I believe, it's like Trump was a gentleman. That's not going to help you. Trump kicked Epstein out of one of his clubs for being a creep. That's not really helping the Democrats either. So, what is the hope in publishing this as they are? Makes no sense. I don't understand. But some people are calling for the files to be completely redacted and to be just published. I understand, because they want the victims' names so that they can assess their trustworthiness, for want of a better phrase. I am reluctant to do that because I don't like naming victims who have not named themselves. These women and girls may want to stay anonymous. It's not their fault they're in the fucking files. And I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. So there is no reason why, let me get this right, the FBI or whoever it is redacts the files, all the names, female names. But then again, what's her face who's in prison? Ghislaine Maxwell. We wouldn't know of any female perpetrators if we redacted all the female names. Here's my, if Cash Patel, you are listening by any chance. So release the files, but redact all the female names whilst you investigate them. And then maybe release the bad people in batches. So if you come across 5 names, for example, and 2 of them are bad and 3 of them are victims. Keep these 3 redacted, publish these 2, and prosecute them, of course. Also, it is interesting to point out the only person in prison for this fucking crime is a woman. Because Epstein was a fucking coward who couldn't even go to fucking trial. You know what? Okay, you know what? You know this is called the tangent. This is why this is called a tangent. Because during the week I do my news headlines, but I think of a Saturday we're just going to have a conversation. If Epstein had disappeared after his trial, as in, got rid of himself, fine, not a problem. I wouldn't care because he'd have faced justice and the victims would have got justice in the legal sense. But no, the coward couldn't face the courts, could he? He couldn't face public scrutiny, and he knew he would be found guilty, so he took the coward's way out. I say that as someone who does not think that of everyone who chooses that way to exit life, but him, yes, I will say about him, coward. How did we get onto that? It was Trump, wasn't it, and Epstein? Yeah, that's just a whole shitstorm. And I'm kind of tired of hearing about it. It's like, just release the files, redact the names as you investigate them, and as you clear them, or not, release the names and say whether you've cleared them or not. That's all. Just an idea. And just, never a dull week at the moment, is there? And in other news, so you've probably heard the BBC are in a little bit of poo-poo. Everything's revolving around Trump and I hate it. But mainly because they doctored footage of Trump hinting that he told the Capitol rioters to riot and blah, blah, blah. Turns out, no, he didn't. But the way the BBC edited together their footage implied that he did. And they have now apologised. The BBC's apologised. But I think Trump is trolling the BBC because initially he was going to sue them for $1 billion. And the latest I've seen is $5 billion. Now, he knows the BBC ain't going to pay that. The BBC are piss poor because they're paying their presenters too much. But yeah, he's just trolling the BBC. He's not going to sue them for $5 billion. I would be surprised if he'd sued them at all. But we'll see. I'm not sure about that, but I doubt very much it'll be for $5 billion. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. You never know. But anywho, the BBC didn't kind of sort of maybe admit that it's got trans coverage wrong. So in the leaked memo from Mr. Prescott that raised concerns about BBC impartiality, he had paragraph after paragraph of examples of how the trans issue, for want of a better word, is covered, and how pro-trans is all yay, trans joy, and people like me are the Wicked Witch of the West. To be fair, she is kind of cool, but he pointed out that it's not, what's the word? It's not impartial, and it can be misleading, i.e., calling a male who has raped a woman her because he wants to be called her. Gets on my wick a little bit. So bearing in mind, Prescott's letter, there was paragraph after paragraph after paragraph after paragraph about this issue and about the BBC's reporting of trans rights, women's rights, gender critical, all that stuff. The BBC responded with one line going, no, we're good, pretty much. You can see it in my other coverage. I have covered it quite extensively. So they've come out and said, no, we're good. We didn't do anything wrong. Our trans coverage, not a problem. But in private, they say something else. So in a confession during a private staff call Wednesday, the 12th of November. Richard Burgess, the BBC's director of news content, told journalists, quote, "We haven't got our trans coverage right," end quote. He urged teams to consider all views when reporting on gender issues. Okay, cool. But the fuck was Shah, Mr. What's his name? Shah? I can't remember. Smear Shah? I might be getting that wrong, so we'll go with Mr. Shah. The BBC head came out with that bullshit, no, there's not a problem. And yet, what, a day or two later, the head of news is admitting that there's a problem? So I personally, no, I think the BBC head man, Mr. Shah, whatever his name is, should apologise for trying to bullshit us. You lied, in my opinion. You said that there was no issue with your coverage of gender rights and trans rights and women's rights when one of your own people has come out, has been caught saying that they've got it wrong. Now, Mr. Shah's excuse was that they were following BBC editorial guidelines. They were not outside of their own guidelines, so there's not a problem. Maybe it's your guidelines that are the problem. Thought about that? Because it's a bit weird, right? But Mr. Prescott, who wrote the letter to the BBC board saying the fuck is going on, he said the LGBTQAIZYW plus desk has a lot of influence on news coverage, which is why it was so biased one way rather than the other. But keep in mind, right, they apologised for the Trump thing. They've apologised for, there was an issue around race. One of the way they reported on one race was different to another, as in like skin colour race, not running race. So they apologised for that. They've literally addressed most, if not all, of the other issues apart from this one. So what has the gay desk, as I have now decided to call them, what has the gay desk got on those that are higher up at the BBC? What dirt have they got on them that they are literally untouchable? I want to know. It might be appropriate now for me to say grow some balls, considering what it's about. But I am curious, like, what have the gays got on the heads of the BBC? I would love to know. Genuinely would love to know. But I don't, and I don't think we'll ever find out, because that's how little they care about women's rights. That's how little women mean to them, and I hate it. I'm just going to have a quick glance at my social medias to see if anything makes me giggle. In the meantime, feel free to leave a comment. There's a post on Twitter: being gender critical is an ideology. I refuse to be what you demand. No. And that is from LGB with the T. Being gender critical is an ideology. It's not, because gender is nothing more than a social construct. Gender is bullshit. And I refuse to be what you demand. I don't demand you to be anything. I just demand single-sex spaces remain exactly that. Single sex. That's all. That looks like Twitter might be it, because Twitter is normally the more what? Oh, I can't read that one. It's behind a paywall with a telegraph. This can't be real. Abortions based on sex of babies could be legalised under plans considered by the Scottish National Party. Let me Google that shit. Yes, there we go. Blah, blah. Right. I can't get into the Telegraph. A report commissioned by the Scottish Government recommends establishing an automatic right to an abortion and listing a set of scenarios where it would be allowed. The expert review published on Friday said any future legislation should not include any explicit prohibition on sex-selective abortion. Professor Annie Glaser, who chaired the review, said that the group believed it was unnecessary and potentially harmful to explicitly prohibit the practice. She said there was a lack of evidence of it taking place in Scotland, adding that enforcing it would also be difficult because it would require intrusive and inappropriate questioning of those seeking an abortion. She also raised concerns that it would risk racial profiling women from particular communities where sex-selective abortion is thought to take place. Okay, so if it's not taking place in Scotland, where's the harm in making it illegal? No one's doing it anyway. Mm-hmm. Or is it just because you're scared of being accused of being racist, which is something that was also brought up in the BBC criticism? I know they are discussing the abortion bill currently in Scotland. Here, at least in England, I assumed it was UK-wide, but must maybe just England and Wales, maybe even just England. We decriminalised abortion for the woman. And the onus falls on the medical provider rather than the woman in regards to an illegal abortion, such as like a very late one, for no health reason, basically. So it falls on the doctor rather than the woman, because the woman may have been coerced, etc. Now, don't get me wrong, if she says I want to kill the baby, that's a different matter. But so Scotland have said this thing isn't happening. Gender selective abortions are not happening in Scotland, but we don't want to make them illegal just in case. Just in case what? They are happening? We should not be... First of all, see, this is why it's called the tangent again, because I'm going off on one. First of all, abortion should not be taken lightly. I am pro-choice. Your body, your choice. You do whatever you do, but abortion should not be considered an easy option, like as in it is a form of birth control. My opinion, everyone's entitled to their own. But allowing abortions based on the sex of a child? No, there is no moral ground to keep that law active. No, bloody well, no. This might have to be in my news headlines on Monday. Because I haven't done any this weekend. I've only done this. I don't know whether to keep it like this. What do you think? Do I do my news headlines Monday to Friday, and on a Saturday we do this, and a Sunday we don't do anything? Maybe. I mean, I'll continue to post things over on my Substack, but yeah, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Right, Threads is always a shit show. Let's have a look what's going on there. I was going to say something and it's completely gone out of my head. That was it. Whenever I go to open Threads or Blue Sky, I hold my breath because they're going to be fucking idiots, some of them. So I've just found out that apparently Leonardo DiCaprio, age 48, was spotted with 19-year-old Israeli model Eden Polani. I mean, she is stunning, but he's 48 and she's 19. That's weird. It's not illegal, but it's weird. I do have a couple of notifications here on Threads, but I don't even... There's someone I'm currently in a conversation with that I would rather not be in a conversation with, because they're a fucking idiot, because they want to mutilate children's genitals, and I don't want to engage. Sorry if it's not you. If you are one of my notifications and I haven't come back to you, I apologise, but I'm not in the headspace to be dealing with that kind of stupidity. Speaking of, let's go into Blue Sky. Blue Sky, my responses are normally quite good, but my actual feed is a bit pants. So if you're on Blue Sky, come say hi to me. Come follow me, because my feed is really boring. There's hardly anything. For some reason, I'm following Le Monde, which is a French newspaper. I used to be able to read kind of French-ish, but I've lost it, so I need to unfollow. But that's pretty much all I'm following. So there will be even less over on there. But it doesn't look like anything's happening there. And there won't be anything on the Fasty book. Then it normally isn't. Right. Oh, never mind. That was boring. Hey. Who's Lisa Nandy? Oh, God, no. Remember when I said Facebook was boring? According to this post on Facebook, not me, Lisa Nandy says child rapists should be in women's prisons. I'm assuming if they identify as ladies. News. She is the secretary for some bollocks. I hate politicians. Past 24 hours. No, okay. Stop it. Past week. Nope. Okay. Never mind. I'm not going to click it because it's YouTube, and that will probably upset my stream because I don't have the best signal. But let's open a new tab. Link in new window. That'll do. Keep you down. Oh, it's doing it. It's doing it. Stop. 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 They just love technology. Right. So, I'm hoping that you understand why I've called my Saturday night show The Tangent now, because it did kind of go off on one a little bit. It's a little bit more relaxed over here, rather than my weekly news, which reminds me, what was in the news today? Let me have a look. This is great viewing for you, I'm sure. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing that interesting, but then again, it is the weekend. They all tend to behave themselves on the weekend. I mean, during the week, the US government reopened. That was something. I did. Yeah, that has been in one of my news headlines. I'm not going to bore you with it again. Nope. No news. No news happens on the weekend. So therefore, this is my mouse. Hi. So therefore, the tangent may be a good idea for a Saturday night. What do you think? And I would like you to recommend some topics to cover, some stories we want to discuss. Literally anything. We can discuss. Nothing's off limits. If you want to get philosophical, if you want to get silly, if you want to get current or historical, I'm happy to do that. Not a problem. But looks like I'm going to be going down the rabbit hole of the abortion law in Scotland and something about Lisa Nandy saying that men should be in women's prisons. Like, some days I do wish that they would stop giving me content. Just stop it. Like, I have, let me go back into my Substack, right? There we go. I have 28 drafts in my Substack, 28 posts that need to be voiceovered, if that's a word, and published. 28 already written, ready to go. And now, I've got another 2 in the past half an hour. The next one is about the BBC admitting it got trans coverage wrong, by the way. And the last one that was published, sex offender accidentally released. And BBC faces criticism over trans bias. Oh, there is a really sad one. I published this yesterday because it has. Okay, let me just go through it. So, married at 12, pregnant at 13, sentenced to death at 18. This woman in Iran, because Iran is one of my favourite subjects. She was a fucking child at the time, was sentenced to prison/death for allegedly killing her husband. Sounds like she didn't. She just happened to be there whilst someone else killed him. But there's now a bounty's the wrong word, a ransom on her head. £80,000. £80,000 is the price to release her from prison, and that has to be paid by her family. Her family disowned her because her husband beat her and she wanted to leave. They didn't disown her because she was beaten. They disowned her because she wanted to leave. I don't even know where to begin. So I can't find any official fundraising link to help Goalie, that's her name, to get out of prison. But she's got until December. I couldn't find out what date in December, but she's got until December to pay this £80,000. And there's now something in my eye, or face the death penalty. Iran and women's rights do not mix. Iran makes me very angry, and because this wasn't supposed to be part of this live stream, but I guess now it is. She was forced to marry her cousin at the age of 12. She was pregnant at 13. Almost died giving birth without medical treatment. Ruined her body because obviously 13, you are not physically capable of full pregnancy and childbirth. But yeah, they're describing it as blood money. I'm not crying. I have something in my eye. But unfortunately, charities like Amnesty International, etc., can't step in because it's the law in Iran. Pay the death money or die. And they don't interfere with law, which is fucked up. They can't just go in there. Well, no, they can. They can go in there and ask them to release her, but nothing will happen. Nothing will come from it. And there's nothing they can do. They can't force the Iranian government to release a prisoner. And Iran has recently been welcomed to the world stage in all sorts of political gatherings. They are being legitimized, which is just reinforcing their human rights failures, their complete disregard for human rights, and the world doesn't care because they're rich in what is it, oil in Iran? So that's what's depressing. The world's not stepping in. The world doesn't care. Women come second to political, financial, government bullshit. And on that happy note, I think I'm going to end because I have something in my eye that's driving me absolutely potty, and it's probably not the best viewing for you if I'm sat here winking at you. But thank you for joining me. It's been a little bit haphazard, but that is the goal. Haphazard isn't the goal. It's just how it happens. That's why we call it the tangent. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and we'll have, I don't know, philosophical debate or a giggle, or we'll talk about the news, whatever takes our fancy. But thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on Monday for the news headlines.